Hi guys, Rob Provencher here from Misfits and Miscreants. It's March 12th, something like that. So, for those who don't know, Henry Bujak, the guy who we started that YouTube channel together back last year, totally on a whim. And sadly, January 2nd, 2022, a couple months ago, Henry passed away. He had a sudden heart attack while he was at Shoppers Drug Mart getting some medication and stuff. So I thought, I don't know, I got to do a video here and talk, just sort of update and give you some thoughts and ideas and what have you. And maybe talk a little bit about why we started the Misfits and Miscreants, of which I don't have a clear answer. It was totally on a whim, totally 100% on a whim. Anybody who has known Henry knows his humor, his quick-wittedness, and the guy was literally like Wikipedia. He just had the ability to remember stuff and have these interesting discussions. I've always known that about him. I first met Henry back in 1991 when I first sobered up in the 12-step program, and he became a quick friend. And he used to drop by my studio. I moved my photography studio downtown Sudbury around 1993, and he used to work. He'd walk by on his way to work often or after work, and he'd pop by the studio all the time and we'd chat. And he went to my wedding, and he didn't have a car, so I often would pick him up and we'd go to meetings and what have you. But when things went into lockdown because of COVID in the spring of 2020, spent a lot of time with Henry, more time because I couldn't run my business, and what are you going to do? Just hang out and talk to interesting dudes like Henry. So it was in the middle of all that we decided, hey, do you want to start a podcast? No plans. And literally all we did was we turned on the microphone, and whatever we talked about was whatever we talked about. So again, if you've known Henry, you know what I'm talking about. He's an interesting conversationalist. He had a quick wit, quick humor, and he was fascinated in all kinds of stuff, including Aleister Crowley, which is kind of the theme. You'll see it often peppered throughout our podcasts. He wasn't a big fanboy. He just found the guy fascinating. And amongst the various other topics and people, historical and the like. So yeah, so that was sort of the background and sort of my connection to Henry. And he was one of my favorite people. We enjoyed going for rides. And life felt very dystopian during lockdown, at least for me anyways. And just being able to talk to people and go for walks, rides, or meetings or whatever. One other thing that happened too was in the early COVID lockdown first part, when everybody was really freaking out, I mentioned to Henry, I said, we should start a meeting, like a clandestine meeting in my studio. What do you think? And he said, yeah, sure. I said, well, I'm going to make a few calls. So I made a few calls to some other members that I know, just to see what their input was. And they were like, yeah, do it. They'd say, I'm not going, but do it. So we did. And we started a weekly meeting because it's important. It's important to connect to people and to have that one-on-one in-person connection. It kind of felt weird too, especially when it went into the second lockdown. It was like, I felt like we were doing something illegal. So I called it our clandestine meeting. So many of the discussions that Henry and I would have, either while driving or hanging out at the downtown or a park or just wasting time, often revolved around recovery. As most of you know, he had like 36 plus years and a lot of experience, and he had a lot of wisdom. So, and amongst all that, sorry, I'm in Costa Rica right now. Did I mention that? Yeah, I'll get back to that in a minute. Somewhere in the fall, late fall of 2020, no, yeah, I can't remember. We met Dylan, who we started hanging out with quite a bit, and sort of became a trio, so to speak. And me, Henry, and Dylan would routinely go for rides. The joke was we were going to Coniston. If you're around Sudbury area, you know where Coniston is, you know. So yeah, we're going to Coniston like it was something really special. But it was just Coniston. It's a little town, little satellite town outside of Sudbury. So we just go for these rides, and the only reason we want to go for rides was just to spend time together and talk. We'd often talk about some pretty deep issues, and it was healing, you know. It was very healing in many, many ways. So that's a large part of what our experiences were with Henry. So anyways, hello.
Hello.
So anyways, the theme that we were going and evolving with Misfits was kind of taking place, and we were hoping to get into more deeper conversations to do around recovery type topics to do with experiences that make you a healthier, stronger person, and what have you, you know, amongst various other topics as well. You know, there's always an endless array of topics when you're hanging out with guys like Henry. So anyways, last time I saw him, my wife and I flew down to Costa Rica. We have a place down here. It's our summer cottage. We work spring, summer, fall, weekends, Sundays. We get very little time off. So you know how people in Northern Ontario, well, everywhere, pretty much have cottages, and they go there on the weekend. Well, this is what we do. We come to Costa Rica. We have our quote-unquote cottage down here. Take a few months off. So we came down a little bit earlier this year. Normally come down somewhere in mid-January. Came down December 19th. I was kind of pissed off because of the lockdowns. I was not a happy camper about any of that. And I said to my wife, we just got to get out of Canada. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we've been here since December 19th. 2 days before I left, we had our last meeting at my studio. And I drove Henry home, and I remember he was complaining about what he thought was a pinched nerve. And I remember he had mentioned that he had been to the emergency 2 or 3 times afterwards, right after that. And he went to the doctors, and it appears that the problem wasn't a pinched nerve. It was heart related, and he had a massive heart attack. So we're going to have a memorial service for him in sometime in May. I was talking with his sister, who lives in Ottawa, and I sent her and others the link to these podcasts, and a lot of people who've known him for many, many years have enjoyed them. They really enjoyed talking or taking in the conversations we've had. It's kind of cool that is now preserved. So for anybody who's known him, they're enjoying those, and anybody who's never really known him, they're still worth listening to. They're very interesting. You'll see what I mean. He's quite the character. So his sister said that she's not quite ready to watch them, but she's really grateful that they were there. She's going to watch them eventually. And I asked her if they'd be willing to wait until the spring to have the memorial, and she was more than willing to wait. And I offered to kind of like spearhead all that. So I keep checking my phone because I've got about 30 seconds in. I gotta stop it and restart it. It only gives me 10 minutes. I'm almost done anyways. So yeah, that's where we're at. Hold on. And I'll let you know about more information about the memorial service. It's probably going to be a Sunday. If you're from Sudbury at all, you'll know the location on Baker Street. I think it's the either the Polish or Ukrainian church, and in the basement there. And it'll probably be like from 1 to 3 in the afternoon or something like that. More details coming. If you have any comments, let me know. Send me an email. robprov@hotmail.com. robprov@hotmail.com. Or put your comments. I'll read them. And I was thinking, you know, I'm going to add some more videos. I have these topics, these ideas that are in alignment with the Misfits and Miscreants theme. And I'm just going to keep doing videos on my own, and I welcome anybody else who wants to join me, sort of in the spirit of Henry, and or otherwise, whatever works for you. Let me know what you think. Misfits and Miscreants was a term that, you know, he always used, Henry always came up with these words, and he had a way with words. And inspired by that, I came up with the title for the podcast, and we've only got 11 subscribers. So I encourage you to send this to anybody you know, and subscribe so that we can get more viewers, and anybody who's known Henry, they may not know that these are available. I encourage you to spread it and subscribe and give me your comments down below. So meantime, enjoy the rest of March. April, I'll be heading home in April, resuming our business activities and reality, and more talk in the theme of Misfits and Miscreants. Thanks, guys. See you later. Alright, little bonus vid. Check this out. These are like vultures, Costa Rican vultures. See them? They're a little scrappy. There must be some food stuff around here. The beach is up ahead. Before I close off, I'll give you a quick view. A lot of tourists here. There's a campground right there. You can see tents. There's people, mostly young people, living there on a budget. There's a lot of young people in Tamarindo. Very, very popular spot. Lots of surfers. And today is Saturday, so you'll hear music. You'll see horses. You'll see locals. Lots of dogs. Boats, lots of boats. And there's Tamarindo Beach. Right now it's kind of low tide. All right, I'm out.